Okay, welcome back to another one of my videos. This is going to be a kind of new video for me. I am basically not going to be editing this video, so it will just be basically my live talking and all that sort of stuff. So let's try it out with a tier list ranking on all the Stranger Things characters that at least were main or iconic. So let's start off with a weird one. We got Chrissy starting off with. Now I'm just going to put her at C, basically because she dies in the first episode that she appears in. But she was such a fun character too. She was a good character and she set off the whole stakes for season 4. Now we got Alexei. I'm going to put Alexei in B because, like, again, I'm going to be probably, unless if they are my personal favorites, they will not be going higher than much. But B for Alexei because he was a fun character to have in season 3. One of the wackier seasons, but he worked in it, and his Russian subplots just were frustrating for me, so he's not higher than a B. Demobat, so I'm just going to put them in F. If not for that, they're just another CGI monster that the Duffer Brothers had to create to entertain the viewers more, and they killed Eddie, so they deserve last. I'm gonna put... Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. But I remember he was in the Russian subplot in season 4, but he was one of the better parts of the Russian subplot in season 4. Oh, I know I'm gonna get called out in the comments if people watch this, and they're gonna go, "You forgot this guy's name?" In my defense, I've only seen season 4 once. Jonathan. Top of C. Actually, I might put him just above Alexei because he was good in season 1, but I just didn't think that he was worth it. He was good in season 5 as well, especially with the Will coming out scene, but he's not as good as some of the other characters on this list. Honestly, I might even just have to move him down to a C because he's not that good. Mike. Get top of B. He was the main character in season 1. He was ultimately the one most going after Will. His relationship with Eleven made him a bit more of a core character, but in general, he just wasn't there as much as the time as I wish. And yet, then another one of the main boys, Lucas. Now, if we were just going off of basically season 1, 2, and 3, he would basically just be bottom of C. But I gotta put him here because his subplots in season 5 and season 4 were some of the better ones. He wasn't as good as what I think Max's storylines were, but I think his involvement with them was a really good way to include his character in a story. 11. Now this one's hard because 11's not really even my favorite character, but I gotta put her at A. She gets the most development out of any character. I like how they evolve her into someone who's gonna be able to take the risks in season 5, and I like how my favorite appearance in her was probably season 1, just because that's when I felt like she was the most ET-ish, if that makes any sense. Dart from season 2? Yeah, season 2. Dart from season 2. Just based on the fact that he's just a CGI slug monster. I enjoyed him, but he's not up there with the rest of the characters. Joyce. I'm gonna put Joyce. Well, Joyce, if she was from season 1 and season 2... maybe even season 4, I would put her at A, but I think she's at top of B. She really didn't have any good subplots in season 5 or season 3, really. She was just basically shouting Will most of the time. I like that she got the final blow on Vecna, but she's not really a character that I think ultimately did much throughout the full run of the show. Erica. I found her kind of annoying at times, but she was a fun side character to have, but she never really influenced the plot in any meaningful way, so I got her at C. Carly. I gotta put her at top of D. Sorry if anyone really liked her after season 5, but she just didn't contribute much to season 5. She was just in the back, and I think she was only there for some emotional beats. She got killed off. She was ultimately really boring. No offense to the actress, just I don't think she got much material to work with. The Demogorgon. Now, when I say the Demogorgon, I mean season 1's Demogorgon. So, honestly, for that, I gotta put it at top of C for how... top of C! Because I really liked the Demogorgon in season 3. It was one of the more scarier monsters just because it didn't show up on screen all that much and it had a lot more horrifying scenes. If we're counting on later seasons, then honestly it would be F, maybe even just D. I didn't like it in any other seasons but season 1, but because of that, I'm just going to be ranking it as if it's just a season 1 appearance. Delightful Derek. I gotta put Derek at S. I don't know why, but his act is so great. I can't believe he didn't have any real acting experience before this show. He was one of the best characters in the full season 5. And I've got to say, Holly and Derek's actors, surprisingly, they're on par with the level of the acting in the kids in season 1. Dustin. Oh, Dustin also has such a great storyline. I love his stories on the show. I love his dynamic with Steven. He just has a great dynamic with most of the characters on the show. He's always been one of the funny ones. He's always been a crowd favorite, but if I were to want a spin-off, I would just want a road trip adventure with Steve and Dustin. Now, Vecna. Vecna's going in B. A lot of characters are going in B, but that's because Stranger Things was ultimately, it drops in a lot of quality. It adds a lot more characters each season. Vecna, I like him as a main villain type character, but ultimately, I think that he just didn't get enough to do in season 5 to make it feel meaningful. Bob Newby, I gotta put him in C. I was gonna put him in A, but then I remember how goofy his death was. And I just didn't feel like he was going to be much of a main character until season 2, episode 4. I didn't think he was going to do much. And then he just ended up dying a couple of episodes after that. Another character I can't remember their name of, but I remember finding them really weird and not necessary in season 4. And I know it's not great, but they added so many side characters in season 4 that so many of them just weren't needed. And you're going to realize that a lot of the characters in season 4, I've just forgotten their name. Eddie, you're going up in S. Now, they did make him way too perfect. They made him way too likable. I wish he was a bit more of a not social introvert. He likes natural human instincts, like how to talk to people. He's a bit of an introvert. I wish that was a bit more of his character. Like Jonathan in season 1, he was a flawed character, but they didn't make Eddie flawed, but I found those two characters to be really similar. Barb, I just gotta put her an F, just basically because of how much people want her back. She was not a character I wanted back. She was useless to season 1 storyline besides getting Nancy involved in the main story. So Justice for Barb was just such a weird thing that I found so many people liked. And her influence on the series ultimately damaged it in a lot of ways in season 2 and in season... Now, Dr. K, I gotta put her in D, but top of D, because her character was just a military bad guy, a human antagonist. I didn't mind that, but ultimately it was not what I wanted out of a character like that's being played by Linda Hamilton. Now, the Demodogs, I'm gonna put them in there, just basically because they didn't impact the season really. Like, they impacted it enough, but it was just ultimately really boring to see them. They were CGI sludge, and I feel like the Duffer Brothers just really went too far into some CGI crap in later seasons, and it really started with season 2. Holly. Now, if this was basically based on her appearances in earlier seasons, she would be an F, because she was useless. But I really liked her. I think she's top of A. In season 5, her storyline was one of the more fun ones. I think her actress did a really good job. I did feel like they did need to do more with her, especially in her storyline about overcoming some crap, about her not fighting Vecna and all that. I wish when Max was being held up by Vecna, she was ready to go in and get a hit on him. And then, she stabbed him, and then Will came in with the mind flayer stuff and took over his body. Mr. Clark. Now, he only appeared not too much in a couple earlier seasons, but I love him. He's such a good mentor to people like Dustin and Mike. I think that in season 1, him helping out the boys because he saw them himself in them was a really fun thing. And I really wish they involved him in the main mystery earlier than season 3. He was added into the Magnet storyline. Again, useless character, but I gotta put him in F. I found him just to be a one-note jock bully. I think that ultimately him dying in season 4, like I didn't even realize he died until I watched someone that said that he died, because that's how useless I found the character. Dr. Sam Owens, I gotta put him in top of D. I can't remember him as well as people like Dr. Brenner, but I remember him having a bit of a good part in the storyline on season 4 and season 2. I think he's a very likable character. He's just not anywhere above C for me. Billy, again, another D. I can't put him higher because he was ultimately one note, and his most interesting aspects in the season were beating up Steve and being the Mind Flayer's puppet. Robin, if we were going based off season 3 of Robin, she would probably be an A, just top of B, but later seasons really annoyed me with her, but she was a really good character to help out Will in season 5, so for that she's getting high up in a B. It's just season 4 that I feel like she was made into a very annoying character. Ted Wheeler, I do think he's a much better character than Carly and the Dart and all that, so he's in D. The Mind Flayer. Now, I did like having a main antagonist for the season until Vecna. I like how the Mind Flayer really kept everything together, so for that, I'm gonna put it in C, above Chrissy and just behind Jonathan. Now, Will really is just top of B. I love Will. I love him in season 5, but season 4, he got put in the worst storyline of the whole season, of probably the whole series, as a matter of fact. He was just in the background in season 3. He was just a plot device in season 2 and season 1, but I think he ultimately was always just a fun character to see. Vicky's going in F, just because I found her very much like a Robin character, but no redeeming traits. She was very much just made to fit Robin's personality and add just a love interest for her. Which I didn't mind that, but she was ultimately added nothing to the series and was just really annoying. Max, I gotta put her in top of A. Now, she was added in season 2, but her storylines in season 4 and 5 really boost her up in so many popularity. Dr. Brenner, I'm gonna put him in bottom C. I found him to be just a one-note villain. He was very much just there to be a reason for Eleven's torment and PTSD, I guess. Now we got Nancy, top of C. She was not a good character in season 4, 5, or really 3 even then. I feel like they made her try and be a hotshot reporter. Ultimately became a bit more annoying. She became very much the character with guns, and I didn't mind that, but it ultimately just made her character feel one note after season 2, and I really don't think that she got enough to do in the show to deserve a higher ranking. Hopper, if this was based off season 2 and season 1, he would be easy S, but I gotta put him just above 11, because his storylines in season 2 and season 1 were amazing. Season 3, he became a dumb, love-obsessed idiot who had so much rage. I didn't mind him in season 4 all too much, but his storyline was so boring that I ultimately, if I ever go back and watch it again, I'm gonna probably skip through a bunch of his scenes. And in season 5, he got nothing to do. They didn't even include him in the final battle. Like, at least Joyce got to kill Vecna. Hopper just stood down on the ground and went, are they okay? Karen Wheeler, honestly, for season 5, she's getting put just there. She's never really been a character I've really noticed all too much. I like how she's become more involved in season 5. And I think that especially since she got brought into it, she can understand at least a bit more better what Mike is going through. And Steve the Hare Harrington, S. I don't think anyone really was too shocked about that. But he's always just been a great character. In season 1, he was basically just meant to be the bully, but ultimately he got into being a bit more of a helpful person. He was a friend to Dustin. He, in season 4, I think were meant to be a bit more bickering with Eddie, like they did a rivalry with them over Dustin. But ultimately, they just became friends. Steve is not possible to be unlikable. He's very likable. I think that Joe Keery gave one of the best performances in all of the series in so many different seasons. He's always just been the constant that I feel like everyone's latched onto. Now, sadly, last is Murray. I gotta put Murray in D. Every season that he got added, he got so much more development. I just don't think he was useful in any season. Thank you for watching. This is my tier list of all the Stranger Things characters. I don't have any more plans for Stranger Things videos besides a review for each single season. So if you guys want any more Stranger Things videos, comment down below. This is Movie Nerd signing off.